Hi Huskies! I have just a few hints for 10.2 homework. The first one's on number 6. So it's asking for a formula for this sequence, numbers, and so every time it's going up by 6. So we kind of have a couple choices here. We can use the explicit formula for arithmetic sequences, which kind of goes like a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d, which is the common difference. And our common difference here is 6. They have a difference of 6 every time. And it's going up by 6, so our d is positive 6. So if we do it like that, we'll end up with the first term, a sub 1, which is 3, and our d is 6. But if we go to stick this in Math Excel, it gets a little upset because it's like you have to simplify the answer. So we can simplify it. Let's distribute that 6. So then we end up with like 6n minus 6. And then the 3 and the minus 6 can combine. And so then we maybe have like 6n minus 3 or negative 3 plus 6n. Those are both great. Now, the thing I wanted to point out was the other day we were talking about linear things, where you're either adding the same thing every time or subtracting the same thing every time. This is the same. So if we look at this sequence and we're like, okay, so it's definitely going up by 6 every time. So that's where this 6 comes from. But the minus 3 comes from the fact that the y-intercept, when x is 0, is actually the same thing. So like negative 3 plus 3 would be 6, or 3 plus 6. I'm going to start over. Negative 3 plus 6 is 3. 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. So this would be like the step before the first term. And that's the 0 step, or the y-intercept. So you can think of it in this way, the arithmetic sequence way, or you can think of it in y equals mx plus b kind of a way. Just make sure you go back to the 0th step to find the b. Which is not the first step. So there's another way of thinking of it. So the next one I want to talk about is number 11. It's like find the sum of the first 20 terms. So we see the pattern here is going up by 6 every time. But maybe instead of writing out 20 numbers that are going up by 6 every time and then adding them all up, maybe we can use the formula that Mr. G was talking about in the video with the sigma. And so we could say either x's or i's or whatever, hey, this is the first term. And so we could go from term 1 all the way up to term 20. And then we would have to come up with the formula to go in here, an explicit formula. So again, just like my last hint, we could do the a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d thing. That would be lovely. So our first term is 3. And then our common difference is adding 6 every time. That works really well. We could stick that in here in big, good parentheses. We could simplify this out. Or we could think of it in y equals mx plus b terms. We could be like, okay, it's going up by 6 every time. And so that's our m. And then the number that it has a y-intercept at, which is when x is 0, would be negative 3, because negative 3 plus 6 is 3. Got it right the second time. And so either one of these formulas can go in here. I'm going to do the simplified version just because there's one less set of parentheses. And then we can use technology to figure this out instead of having to do it all by hand. So my calculator actually just died. It was like, recommend change of batteries for several months, and now it's dead. And of course, I don't have any at home. So let me show you Desmos. I think this will work. I hope you can see it. Okay, so you're going to Google Desmos, D-E-S-M-O-S. And then you'll click on it or the graphing calculator part. And once we get into that, in a sec. Okay, down at the bottom in here, oh, this is tough. There's like a, yeah, show keypad. Okay, and then there's a functions button, which my face is in the way of. Let's see if we can, ha! Okay, if we go over to miscellaneous, face is in the way again, just putting it in the middle. There's the sum. So we went to Desmos, and then the little keypad, and then functions, and then miscellaneous. And if we type the sigma button, it starts us off here. So I had 1 to 20, and their default is an n. So when we're in here, we'll have to use the n's. So 6n minus 3, then it spits it out, 1200. And so if you type that in MathXL, that'll work as well as the calculator. So there's that. Now I don't know how to pause this. Okay, the next one's number 14. Mine said the sum of the odd numbers between 30 and 40. Man, there's not that many numbers. I mean, it's like 31 is the first odd number, and then 33, 35, 37, 39, 41's too big. There's only like 5 numbers. So you could like write a whole formula and type it all in, or maybe on some of them you just choose to like do it manually. So maybe on this one I'd recommend doing it manually. That would be lovely. And then my last 2 hints are on numbers 15 and 16. When it says use the formula to find the sum of blah, 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 you're just going to use your calculator or Desmos, because we didn't give you the formula because technology exists now and it didn't when we were in high school. Okay, that's it for 10.2. Good luck on your homework and ask us questions if you have them. Okay, bye.